Now, remember, in the other video, I talked about the guarantor, the employee, and the one in Italy. Now, if your guarantor is in Cameroon, if the guarantor is a civil servant, if he is the one, like a civil servant wants to give you the documents to prove, or an employee guarantor in Cameroon, okay, let's just put it that he is a civil servant. He earns money, you get. These are the documents you need to collect from him. One, his pay slips from the last 6 months, then his income tax return for the year 2023, or for that particular year, okay, because we are in 2024 now. If you are collecting the documents now, you need to get documents for 2024. These things I'm telling you, you are not going to find them on the embassy website. I'm just doing my own part because I know many people do not know this. It doesn't mean that your guarantor must only come from Italy. No, I'm just telling you what I know, okay? So do your due diligence. Then before you put in for visa application, it is very important. Then you also need to collect individual life certificate. There is a document like that. Ask the person in charge giving you these things. Then his bank statement for the past 6 months. Bank statement. Remember, when you are saying that you have a bank account, the account needs to be rotational, like money is going into the account, money is leaving the account, and stuff like that. It shouldn't be an account that is active after 6 months. You put money today, you go back again after 6 months. It doesn't make sense. The embassy will just look at it as a lovable paper, right? And again, please try to stay on course. Don't use any document that you think is going to jeopardize your visa application. Then you also need to collect the employment contracts of your guarantor, and also these employment contracts must show his position in that particular company. Remember, you shouldn't be telling the embassy that your guarantor is a teacher and he earns 1 million, a primary school teacher, and he earns 1 million. Think about it. You shouldn't be telling the embassy that your guarantor is maybe a salesperson in the market. Or of course, if he's a salesperson in the market, it means he has a business, right? And he is not paying tax. It doesn't make sense. Let's move further. Then you also need to collect what they call the bank domiciliary certificate. There is a document from the bank certificate, get it. Tax compliance certificate, get it. The registration certificate, get it. You also need letter of commitment to show that he is in full support of your visa application. It is very important for you to note this, because this letter of commitment is more or less like a motivation letter, or let me say a give deed letter, but it's quite different. Letter of commitment, because he needs to be committed. He needs to show full support of your application. And remember, some of these documents have to be notarized. Now, you also need to show a letter called the AVI. Just get the AVI. Every country has this particular document. It is important that you get yours as well. And also, declaration of assets has to be notarized, because if your guarantor has assets, it shows compliance to the embassy that when you finish your study program, you have to return back home. It is very important. Then also, we are talking now about a guarantor with a business in Cameroon. Remember the first two options. Now, for people with businesses, trade certificate or trade register or tax compliance certificate. There are two names anyways. Your tax is very important. This is why I always insist on the tax, because if you run a business in any country, you need to get the tax documents, right? That's document number one for business people. Certificate of non-fee and income declaration, of course. That's the new, I think now in Cameroon, everybody declares their income. Certificate of registration. Then another one is bank certificate or bank domiciliation, something like that. Then you also need bank statement for the past 6 months. Also, if he has properties, he has cars, he has lands and everything, all of that should be documented, notarized, and you also add to the documents. Then also letter of commitment and identity document. Then that AVI is very important, so do not forget that one. I talked about documents provided by guarantor in Italy if he or she is working in any place in Italy. So the details are already there. Watch that video and then you thank me later. Now, if there is any member on inside the family of a guarantor, please, it is very important because they will want to know. Remember, those of you doing this document back home, you have to do the documents, and if you ask me, I would say that try to contact the embassy lawyer, contact the Italian embassy so their lawyer can notarize these documents. It's important because it shows authenticity. But if you do not do it, any other lawyer can notarize the documents. Of course, it doesn't really matter. To me, I just believe that they would not really value our own documents that much. So please put all these things together. And if your guarantor is in business in Italy, of course, you now know what to do, right? Collect documents to show that he has a business and you are good to go. So I believe this is what you need. In other videos, we are going to talk about how you are going to get this. Then if your guarantor is in US, Canada, USA, or the Schengen country like Japan, he or she also needs to give you a signed letter of support. He also needs to give you his pay slip for the past 6 months. He also needs to give you his bank statement for the past 6 months. He also needs to give you his annual tax return. He also needs to give you, if he has a house, if he's a tenant, he let him give you the documents to prove that he is also a tenant or he has his own house. Those documents must be there properly. Then also his identity document and then his family certificate or life certificate. These are the things that you need to put into consideration and then you are good to go. Then documents to be submitted for visa application, of course, they are going to be on the embassy's website. I believe this is what you need. In subsequent videos, we are going to talk about so many other things and hope you get your visa approved. So many things are changing, guys. Apply for your visa early. Those of you who are applying to Spain, please submit your visa application 2 months to the start of your program. It shouldn't be less, at least 2 months, so they take time to process the document. And remember to contact your university to give you all the necessary information you need. If they don't give you, avoid buying insurance from Cameroon. Buy from an insurance company in Spain. It puts more weight to your application. Then also, if you are doing translation, contact a translator in Spain in the city in which your university is located. It's better that way. I prefer that option. And then ask your university for more information. And do not forget that it takes time for the embassy to respond for appointments. So you need to book an appointment as early as you can. Okay, to those of you who have been telling me, Milton, I want a country where I can move with my family. I want a country that I can build and later on bring in my family. This video is for you. I'm going to be giving you some tips and telling you the countries. I have on my list about 10 countries here that will accept you with your family immediately you are applying for a visa, a student visa, or you can move to the country, then around 3 months, 2 to 3 months, you can then bring in your family. I'm going to give you all the details. But before we proceed, I am organizing an event and it's going to take place on a 26th, I think it's 25th, 26th or 27th. And this is only for those who want to apply for fully funded scholarships in the United States of America and Erasmus Mundus scholarship. I actually applied for these 2 scholarships. I didn't submit one application, the other application for Erasmus, but I submitted my 5 applications for PhD in the US, but ended up not getting the scholarship. And there were so many reasons which I'm going to be explaining to you. If you cannot join this class, please, no problem. We are still going to be dropping details here, okay? But I want to take these 3 days to drill you people. So it's not a must. If you do not, or if you can't afford, don't worry. I will still be dropping information here. My goal is to make sure many people move abroad. There are so many things you guys don't understand, but I'm going to talk with you. Now, remember, these are fully funded opportunities. I always talk of you building a very strong CV. And again, if your academic credentials, like your CV, your transcript doesn't have at least 2.9 GPA on 4, or if you have something above 3, good. Then also, if your CV, maybe you've not done voluntary services, you've not done internship, you don't have work experience, please try to get these things because scholarships are competitive. And remember, even if you register for this class, do not forget to also apply for self-funded opportunities because, like I said, it is competitive, and I also didn't want to waste enough time. But we are going to see into this because, of course, nobody has monopoly over scholarships. You just need the right information and the right ideas. The link will be there, the first link. Now, let's talk about those of you who are looking for places you can go in, build your family, build yourself in a long run, and probably end up getting a passport or permanent residency. The first country is Finland. With Finland, you can apply with your family, go in at the same time with student visa. But do not forget that you need birth certificates, you need your marriage certificate if you're married, if you have kids and you are moving with them, birth certificates. If you are moving with a child, one of the parents is not in the child's life, you need approval from the other parent to move the child to Finland. Remember, Finland is not cheap, and the next intake to study in Finland is going to be January next year. It's going to be maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks application, and I will advise those going for bachelor's and master's, please take IELTS. That is tip number one to those of you going to Finland. Now, I will not encourage you to be waiting for vocational college like Valmia in Finland is like applying for scholarships. Do not depend on it. But again, like I said, I'm going to be taking you guys for the master class for just those going to US for masters or PhD and those looking to apply for Erasmus, because I know what I did. I know more about those scholarships because I actually applied for it. Yes, I didn't get in, not because I wasn't knowledgeable, but because of some things I did which were not correct. And I'm still going to tell you so you avoid it. Remember, there is a lot you need to do. I'm just going to tell you, I cannot apply for scholarships for you, but if you need me for your admission, self-funded opportunities, contact me September. Details down there, check the links. Now, let's go. The next country is Canada. For you to move with family to Canada, you need to be going in for master's or PhD. And remember, Canada is a bit complicated. Yes, there are also scholarships opportunity in Canada, especially those of you who are looking for PhD. Okay, so you just need the right information. Make sure you make friendships with your teachers because you will need them for motivation letters. Very important. This is one thing that caused me not to win a scholarship. And remember, I wrote IELTS 4 times, academic once, general 3 times, but not because I was applying for scholarships. I wanted to use the general for express entry, but I later realized that my chances were very low. Do not waste time. Take every opportunity you have immediately. That was why when Netherlands came, I took it. Now, let's go further. The next country you can move with your family is Iceland. The same procedure. Remember, you are going to get authorization before you apply for residence permit. There is a video I did, and if you are looking for the next intake to move to Iceland, please check University of Iceland, University of Reykjavik, Hoda University. Okay, by December. Admissions is going to open December, and one tip for you, go and write IELTS and apply early. There is no tuition fee, just a semester, maybe an administrative fee of about 75,000 Icelandic krona, and this fee is not up to 700,000 CFA francs Cameroon money. So please put this into consideration. Now, the next country we are talking about is Sweden. First thing first, Cameroonians, you cannot apply for the Swedish Institute scholarship. As I'm talking to you now, Sweden is open but few programs. Remember, I've said always apply for programs that will last 1 year at least in Sweden. And do not forget that you can move with family to Sweden. It is very important for you to note this down. Please remember, Sweden is very expensive. And if you are applying, you need to ask yourself, can I really apply for the scholarships? Look at your documents. If you think you can afford self-funding, go in. If you think you can't afford self-funding, then you have to decide where to go. Remember, the better the country, the better the economy, the more expensive it's going to become. You cannot be saying you want to move to the Netherlands and you do not have enough money because, of course, the Netherlands is an advanced country. All those top countries in terms of GDP ranking, you have to pay more. The next country I want to talk about is the Netherlands. And like I said, there are a lot of videos I've done about the Netherlands, so no elaboration. Another country is the United Kingdom. Now, With the UK, there are so many laws, and I want you to pay attention to the latest ones from the P-man of UK, and which was saying that you are going to take like 10 years to get permanent residency. We are not sure. And if you want to move with your family to the UK, please understand that there are certain programs, STEM-based programs you can apply to. Okay. And if you think the UK is not the best option, take a look at Austria. Now, with Austria, there is another problem, legalization. There are videos on the channel already. So, I will encourage you to evaluate yourself. Ask yourself, can I actually wait for appointments? Can I actually do the legalization before I apply? Can I actually look at other options? Can I choose Portugal instead of Austria? Is Austria better than Portugal? Of course, yes. So it's now left for you to make this decision. Okay, if you want to apply to Austria, note that the next intake is March, April next year, and October, November next year. Portugal is also another country, and of course, Denmark is another one. But now with Denmark, remember, you need to avoid universities that are not state universities in Denmark. There is a new law, and I dropped a video a few days back telling you guys that you need to apply for schools that are state universities. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for you to actually get a stay back visa after you finish your study program, because the Danish government, they actually said on their website that if you study a program which is not in a state university, you cannot get a stay back visa, and you cannot bring your family to Denmark. So apply only to state universities, right? Thank you. Now, another country is Spain. I would like to tell you that Spain is now so heavy. Like, the process is so complicated. Start early. Apply for your visa 2 weeks before the start, 2 months, not weeks, before the start of the program. And also, remember, you need to authenticate your documents and legalize them.